My name is Anne-Cathrine Riebnitzsky. I'm a Danish writer. I have a background as a soldier in the army, which you might not guess from looking at me. I've written quite a few books, and the one you're currently looking at is Slaughtered Pigs. It has various titles in English. The real title in Danish would be Damned Offspring or Cursed Offspring. I've planned this. I've planned to come and sit beside you on our long journey home. I'm tired to the bone after 6 months of war, and especially after what happened with my family. Slaughtered Pigs is a novel, a big novel with a lot to tell about how it is growing up in a family that's dysfunctional. So basically it's a tale of 4 children growing up with a manic depressive mother and a rather violent father. It's also a love story. It has a framework where Lisa, the one who tells the story, is sitting in a plane next to a surgeon whom she's falling in love with, and she's slowly telling her life story. She's also confessing to him how a murder in her family took place and how someone in the family robbed a post office. So there's a bit of a crime tale in there as well. I've already decided to tell you. I have to tell someone. And the thought that telling this story will both begin and end during the time we have on board calms me. I've decided to tell you about the murder, but also about the robbery which preceded it. Where did you grow up, you ask again? But the story doesn't begin there, I think. It began 2 months ago in a cold desert. The thing we've seen in Denmark is that it's really, people have taken it to heart. But I think this story is also relevant for many other countries. It's come out in Norway and it's come out in Sweden and it's had really good reviews. I think there's something universal in it. There's something there that we can all relate to, and that a lot of us know either it has happened in our own family or we know someone to whom this has happened. So there's something there that I think would speak to more people than just the people living in Denmark. My dad looks at us gruffly. Ivan is lying on one sofa, I'm lying on the other. I've got the washing up bowl, he's got the yellow sausage top. We're ill, Dad, Ivan says, clearly confused. You're just bloody runts. I duck from under his gaze. He shakes his head. Then he storms out of the room. A runt is the worst thing you can be. If any of the piglins are runts, they get put down. They're not worth feeding. I know it's a rather unusual background to be a soldier and a linguist officer. I trained with ground combat. I've been deployed to Afghanistan twice, once as a soldier and then as an advisor for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And some publishing houses are completely turned off by it, and some just love it because it's so unusual. For me, the thing is that I encompass both sides. So I have got a side to me that's very disciplined. I work really hard and I know what I want to achieve and I work towards that goal. And that fits really well with the life in the army, the life that I used to have. And it's served me really well as a writer because I find that some writers and some of the creative souls, which is also me, can get a bit fluffy and they don't always manage to finish their stories and life flows a little bit. So I think it's been a really good thing for me to have that background from the army. But of course it's also been a little bit hard at times deploying to a war zone. It's given me a lot of experience, but you can probably imagine that I'm also as soft as any other writer, so a lot of impressions that are stuck on the inside and they want to get out through my fingers into the books. But the two go hand in hand in me somehow. My mum sits on the edge of the sofa and strokes my forehead and hair. Do you need anything, she asks. I shake my head. There's a glass of water on the coffee table. The few times I've drank any, I got a cramp in my stomach and spit out some acidic water. I don't know what it is. It scares me. My dad returns. He's holding a plastic bottle with a red screw-top lid. He looks angry. Well, if the two of you are ill, then of course, you need your medicine. He unscrews the lid. My mum's eyebrows dart up and towards each other like two worried snails trying to escape from a face that's close to bursting into tears. Henry, is that a good idea? There's been a development in my writing. My very first book is called The Women's War, and that's a biography, and it's about my work in Afghanistan. That was the very first one. Then I wrote a novel that takes place in Afghanistan. It's called The Stolen Road. It's a lovely novel. I still really adore it, and I won the debutante prize for it, which is a big thing in Denmark. Then I wrote this one, Cursed Offspring or Slaughtered Pigs, which has a little bit of Afghanistan in it, but not a lot. And then my next novel, which is coming out 5th of January here in Denmark, is called Hurricane Season and Silence. And the word Afghanistan is not even in there. I've checked, it's not there. So there is a development in my books. I think I tend to take things from reality. It's very important for me that there's a story to tell, that there's something here. I hate to waste people's time. I hate to waste my own time and the reader's time. So there has to be something there that speaks to you, that speaks to your life. And then the other part of that is that I want to have a beautiful but simplistic language, something that's not difficult to read. It can be difficult to write though, but it's important for me that the story just seeps in and that it sits there right under your heart. So there's been this development in my writing and in my books. I'm slowly moving away from the war, you might say. They've got the same bloody symptoms as the pigs, can't you see that? Throwing up and throwing themselves down. Dad, that's for pigs, that stuff, I say. Pigs resemble humans more than any other being. When you have to test something, you test it on a pig. If it works on a pig, then it works on humans. It's scientifically proven, and this stuff is bloody expensive. I look at Ivan. We're not pigs, I think. We're not bloody pigs. Ivan stares at me quietly. Open up, he says.